Welcome back to Secret Weapons for Game Design. Conducting your playtest. As we've discussed previously, conducting playtesting is a critical part of the game design process in order to ensure that your game is designed to be fun and accessible to your players, and so that the intent of your game design is coming across to the players. In playtesting, you'll observe how players react to and play your game and discover any obstacles or issues that they encounter as they play. In the last video, I outlined all the steps you need to plan for your game playtesting. Now, once you've got your plan in place and the participants or playtesters are scheduled, it's time to conduct your playtest. This is it. This is when it's time to let go of your baby and hand it over to testers to see how they will react to your game when they play it on their own. How to observe playtesting. Well, there are a couple of ways to observe your playtesting: in person and remotely. Ideally, you'll be able to physically meet with players in person at a location where you can have your game set up for testing. This can be a classroom, lab space, or office, or even a game or comic shop, or meeting room in a library. Essentially, it should be a safe and accessible place that you've reserved or scheduled where you can set up your game and invite playtesters to meet you there to try out your game for the playtesting. Starting the test. At the start of the test, remember to ask playtesters for their permission to record the session and then record it so that you can go back and review the session and what happened later. You can record using the camera on your mobile phone, a GoPro, or other small handheld camera. At the very start of the testing session, thank playtesters for their time and help and give them a very minimal premise of the game, such as a 1 or 2 phrase introduction that is just enough to explain the game genre, premise, and an overarching goal to get them started. Using our VR Carnival example, a good, very short premise to kick off playtesting for this game would be something like, "Welcome to the VR Carnival. You and your friends have rented this carnival for today's event, and it's all yours. See how many tickets and prizes you can win before your time at the carnival is up." If your game requires operations instructions, such as specific controller mappings, in order to play, be sure to include those controller mappings on a piece of paper or some visible signage of some sort. It's best to give players a reference for the controls that they can refer to when they need to at their own pace and any time throughout the playtesting. After giving them the short premise and any operation instructions, simply ask the players to get started playing, asking them to say their thoughts out loud as they play and to let you know when the game is done for them. Then it's hands off for you to step away from the testers and observe the play. During the test. While players are playtesting the game, be sure to remind them to think out loud about what they are seeing and doing, if they don't already do that for you, and to speak up about any obstacles or blockers or questions that they are facing while they play. As the moderator or facilitator, it's your job to guide or help the playtesters only if you need to help them progress through any limitations of the prototype or when needing to answer critical questions that are absolutely necessary to complete the task at hand. Remember, you should note these questions or obstacles and record them as the session takes place as part of your notes and your observations from the session. Here is an example of observing and recording a playtester and encouraging him to think out loud while he tests the game. Go ahead and open the game and tell me what you see and what you can do and how the game is going for you. And remember to think aloud all your thoughts as you play the game. Feel free to get started whenever you're ready. What do you see here?
So it's a splash screen, I think, and eventually it will take me to the main screen. Well, it's not, so I'm guessing I have to click or something to proceed. Okay, so I just clicked, it loaded the main screen.
What's happening now?
So now we're actually loading the level or the board that I have to complete. My little character is Baba. Arrow keys move Baba up, down, left, right. And then solving these puzzles involves taking a look at the different rules that are kind of written out. Some of these rules can't be changed.
Concluding the test. To conclude the tests, let the players tell you when the game is done for them or when they believe they have finished the game. Remember to ask them to complete that brief exit survey about their experience, which you designed during your test planning. Finally, thank your playtesters, and a small token of your gratitude is always appreciated, like a small gift card or stickers or other fun swag that you can give your playtesters as an extra thank you for their help. Here are some tips and techniques to get the most out of your playtesting. Be sure to have decision makers on your team, anyone who's involved in the design of the game. Make sure that they can watch the playtest in real time if possible, and try to make time to discuss what you saw immediately. The sooner you are able to recall your observations and discuss them with your team, the more accurate they will be. And observing and discussing the playtest together will help you make sure that you are all on the same page when making decisions. You can also conduct playtesting using an online remote playtesting tool, which you can pay for, like Playtest Cloud. For additional tips and techniques, you can find one of my favorite sets of guidelines for how to effectively playtest from Nicole Pazzi and Eric Zimmerman. They have an online primer called Don't Follow These Rules, a primer for playtesting, which I will include a link to in this description. This primer provides very helpful and practical techniques for conducting playtesting, such as design for the learning part of your experience, prepare variations of your game, and shut up and encourage your testers to think out loud during the playtesting. Let's talk about conducting your playtests remotely. Conducting your playtesting in person isn't always possible, either because you need to be socially distanced or because you need to use testers who are in a different location from where you are. For conducting your playtests remotely, you'll use all the testing steps and process and techniques that I've described with a few modifications. To playtest your game remotely, the first thing you'll need to do is get your testers access to your prototype or game build so that they can test it for you when you're not right next to them and they're not with you. You should select a live stream or video chat application that you can use to observe the playtesters, and you'll want an application that allows you to see their screen while they play the game, as well as see them playing the game. A couple of great applications you can use for playtesting remotely include Zoom or Discord. For mobile games, have your testers position their webcam towards the phone. Here is a nifty hugging technique that Lisa Rumberg shows us in her blog. This hugging technique allows the tester to play the game on the mobile device and still have you watch their gameplay as they play. Again, all of the same techniques for playtesting in person apply. Give the testers a very brief description of the premise, an overarching goal, and any key constraints or rules to the game to get them started. All the while playtesting is happening, be sure to remind playtesters to think out loud about what they are seeing and what they are doing. And remember to guide or help the playtesters during their testing only if necessary to help them progress through any limitations of your prototype, or if you must answer critical questions that are necessary to help them complete the testing at hand. Next up in this series, I'll be diving into some risks and limitations inherent in playtesting. And later, we'll share some secret weapons borrowed from software research and development to help you take playtesting to the next level.